This is hands down probably one of the most violent yet hilarious fights I'd ever seen when I was a kid and still in high school. When I was younger, I used to get beaten up like 2 times a week because not only did I not like to fight, but I was a lot skinnier than all of the other kids, and I also got really good grades in school. In order for me not to get my face stomped in every other freaking day, I started hanging out with kids who were a lot tougher and bigger than I was, which led me into running into a kid that I like to call Devon. Devon was a freak of freaking nature, man. I remember the reason why I walked up to him and even said anything to him is because as a kid, I used to always try to get stronger, which I figured would help me not get picked on so much. I'm at my bench and I'm benching like 115 or 120 pounds, right? Not even for that many reps. I look over to my left only to see Devon benching 250 freaking pounds for more reps than I was pushing up 115. When I tell you that this dude was strong and physically intimidating, because this dude, he had arms like freaking tree trunks. Have you ever seen someone dress up in like a superhero costume for Halloween? And they have on the superhero suit that has the muscle pads under their clothes and whatnot? That's what this dude looked like. Add insult to injury, after talking to him for a little bit, because he was a really nice guy, he turned out to be a year younger than me. I was 15, he was only 14 freaking years old. This dude was squatting like 500 freaking pounds. Now, I know what you're probably saying. Hey, Blasphemous, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, right? Now, this guy is huge, but most really big guys usually don't know how to fight because they don't get into very many fights because of how big they are. At insult to injury, they usually can't move that well. Fortunately for him, that turned out to be the complete polar opposite, considering I find out later this guy is a freaking amateur boxer. Not only that, but he's one of the best amateur boxers in the freaking city. Add injury to insult, this dude won all of his fights by way of freaking knockout, man. But it was super cool because the guy turned out to be a really nice guy, and after making him laugh a couple times, we became friends. Now, me, Devon's older brother, and another friend of mine who I forgot who it was, we're walking home from school the way we always walk home from school, and we're passing by this park. Inside the park, which is surrounded by this really big metal gate, are these 12 white dudes all playing football. Now, while we're walking past, I guess one of the guys had kind of messed up on their throw because the ball comes careening over and smashes into the gate right next to Devon's foot. Devon reaches down, he picks up the football, he looks over at us and he starts twirling it on one finger, you know, showing off the fact that he was also really good at sports. And apparently the guy who had accidentally thrown the ball our way, he yells over at Devon, "Hey, N-bomb, throw me the ball." And Devon, upon hearing this, he immediately drops the ball and catches it with both the palms of his hand and looks over at the guy. He's like, "Excuse me, what did you just call me?" And the white guy, apparently feeling very secure in his masculinity, given that he's got 11 of his friends behind him, takes a couple of steps forward and repeats what he said. He's like, "Hey, N-bomb, I said throw me the ball or I'm gonna come and I'm gonna take it from you." Devon turns around to his brother. He gives his brother this weird look that I couldn't really decipher at the time. And then he looks back over at the guy and he's like, "Oh, really now?" He drops the ball and starts walking over to the guy with his brother following close behind him. While he's walking over to the guy, he's being overly animated. He's like, "Oh, you mean this ball right here? Oh man, dude, I didn't even realize. I really would love for you to repeat what you just said to me and my older brother though." And he's saying all of this while being overtly physically expressive and animated as he's walking over to the guy. It looked like he realized that he was kind of barking up the wrong, extremely buff black guys and had started to open his mouth to apologize. But right as he opens his mouth, Devon gets up on him, and before the guy can even get a couple of words out of his mouth, Devon cold cocks the guy, and the dude is laying back first on the freaking floor. Now, unfortunately for the guy laying on the ground, his friends didn't have his back nowhere near as much as he apparently had thought that they did, because while he's laying on the ground and Devon is talking calmly to him like,
"Yeah, man, what's that you were saying a minute ago? Why'd you go ahead and repeat that? How you gonna disrespect me and my brother?"
While Devon is politely conversating with this dude, Devon's older brother is keeping the lookout to make sure that any of the other 11 guys weren't gonna try to jump in. The guy laying on the ground, apparently sensing the impending butt whipping that was about to go down, starts apologizing immensely like, "No, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it, I was just joking." Upon hearing this extremely transparently bad apology, Devon stands up and he looks at his brother, and they kind of get this weird look in their eyes, almost as if they were communicating telepathically, as if his brother understood what Devon was communicating to him, with nothing to go on except for his brother's facial expressions. They like box the guy in from the left and the right, and they're on either sides of the guy. They start doing something that I've come to call bad cop, bad cop. Now, there's a movie called The Other Guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, and in one of my favorite scenes in the movie, they have to interrogate this guy in order to get information about a kidnapping that happened, or some crazy crime that happened or something like that. So they walk into this guy's huge office, and the guy's not talking. Mark Wahlberg pulls Will Ferrell aside, and he's like, "Hey, look, man, he's not talking. All right, look, on 3, we go good cop, bad cop." And Will Ferrell's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's get him." They count to 3, and Mark Wahlberg turns around, and he's like, "I'm gonna throw you out the freaking window of the office with the nice view that you got here, huh? You trying to go out your window? Can you fly? Huh? You think I'm playing? You think this is a game?" And the guy who's being interrogated, he's like, oh my God, please no. Okay, what about your partner? I'll talk to him. You're crazy. I'll talk to your partner though. I'll tell you anything you want to know." Will Ferrell takes one look at the guy pleading to give him the information that they came there to get. He turns around, starts yelling and screaming, starts kicking over desks, smashes a window, throws a plant. I think at one point he even teabagged the guy. I can't remember, but apparently security comes and they throw out Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, and when they're both walking away, Mark Wahlberg is like, "Dude, what are you doing? That is not good cop, bad cop." And Will Ferrell's like, "Oh, dude, I thought you said bad cop, bad cop. My bad, man." So the guy who had called him the N-bomb, he's laying back first on the ground with both his hands up in a self-defense type way, pleading for them not to beat him in front of his 11 onlooking friends. Devon is on his right side. Devon's older brother is on his left side. They begin what has to be the most psychologically torturing game of bad cop I have ever seen utilized on somebody. Devon looks down at the guy and he balls both his hands into fists and he lurches at the guy real fast. He's like,
"Bro, you better get up right now or I'm gonna curb stomp you, bro. Swear to God, homie."
Then Devon's brother would cut him off and then be like,
"For everything I love, if you get up, I'm gonna break your jaw, bro. I swear to God, you better not get up."
Then Devon cuts off his older brother again.
"Dude, I swear to God, you think I'm playing, man. You better get up right now, dude. Get up."
The look of sheer terror on this guy's face. I mean, you would think that he was strapped to a pair of train tracks with huge speeding trains coming at him from both sides. The look of terror coupled with confusion on this guy's face was hilarious, man. Add insult to injury, his friends are just standing there watching this happen, and they're looking nearly as scared as the dude on the ground looked. Devon and his older brother do this to this guy for what had to be the longest 2 to 3 minutes of this guy's freaking life. I guess he said screw it, because then he just jumps up. Devon's older brother just cold cocks him in the freaking mouth. But this time, when he falls to the ground, Devon's older brother jumps on the upper half of him, pinning everything above the guy's waist to the ground. And then Devon just starts punching the guy's legs in. What's really funny is, while they have him pinned on the ground and other brother is beating his legs mercilessly with his fist, since the guy is pinned down, he can't move. So the only thing that's moving is his face. And he's moving his freaking neck and his head back and forth, just screaming bloody murder for his friends to help him. Like, ah, ah, ah. After about 30 or 40 seconds, they stop, they get up off of him. Devon looks at the guy's completely mortified crowd of friends, and he's like, don't nobody touch him. And then Devon and his older brother turn around and start walking off. The guy's legs are like strained boiled noodles at this point. Like, they're not working, they're just done. This dude is legitimately military crawling back to his friends, reaching out to him like, but his friends are backing up from fear of what Devon and his older brother are gonna do to them if they disobey his orders of not helping him while he's on the ground. Devon and his older brother, when they get back on our side of the gate, because we weren't going in there from fear that the 11 would try to jump on us, and we couldn't fight. We weren't boxers. We stayed on the other side of the gate. So when Devon and his older brother got back on that side of the gate, they just went right back to their calm and happy demeanor, actually continuing on the same conversation that we had been talking before any of this had freaking happened. So as we're walking the rest of the way to get past the park, all you see is this guy still crawling towards his freaking friends, calling out for help while they all back away from this dude. All the while, every couple of seconds, shooting Devon and his older brother a look to see if they're watching, to make sure that they're not helping their friend. They're like backing up and, shooing him away from them while he's crawling to them for help. Now, I don't know how long they did this, because we didn't go back. We just, went on and freaking walked home. But that was freaking hilarious, man. And to tell you the truth, I've seen stuff like that happen a couple of times in the inner city for saying some crap you shouldn't have said to certain people. Because people tend to have this group mentality. But whenever they get confronted, that one person who was talking all the garbage, most of the time, if you take him out fast and violently enough, his friends aren't gonna want any of what he just got. And the whole group mentality thing kind of caves in on them, because none of them are willing to come forward, so all of them just stay back. The entire freaking group of people. What's funny to say is, Devon and his older brother were two of the very few kids that I knew that were that big and that much stronger and that much more intimidating than everyone else around them that weren't actually picking on people. I've saw these dudes help people with their groceries, help them across the street, all types of stuff. They were two of the nicest dudes you'd ever meet. But if you crossed them, they would freaking go all out. That's just how they were raised, man. That's how their family had raised them. Their dad was in the military, and that's how their dad raised them. That's my BHD story time for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you guys enjoy hearing these crazy stories, make sure to click the like button, make sure to favorite, and share these stories with other people. You know other people want to hear of this craziness. And with that, I am out. Twisms. Screaming.
Emily, put me down!